Oh, I am so nervous. Let's slow this down for a second, data collectors. No, hold on, let's pause. I knew I was gonna do this. Can y'all help me out? Because where am I supposed to look? Every time I'm watching this video, I'm like, are my eyes like, am I supposed to look this way, that way, this way? What does this look like? What does that look like? What does this look like? Obviously not, right? So there's a green dot on my phone, yeah? Do I stare at this or do I stare at myself? I don't know what to do. Okay, let me just get to y'all let me know which way. So let's slow this down for a second, all right, data collectors? Because there's a lot of us out here that think they're overreacting when they're really not. Now, I really want to try something new. So I have to remind myself this because I get this ADHD zoomies when I try to do things. It's just like, get it over with and get it done. So I want to slow down. So I'm just going to look at my notes because I don't need to perfectify this. And sometimes I run on this adrenaline rushing energy that just makes me feel like I need to perfectify everything. And I need to just slow my ass down. Okay. So I really want to talk about this special kind of overwhelm and how it gets confused as stress, but it's not necessarily stress, all right? In this loop, I call it egocentric loops, they activate, all right? I could go down a whole thing. I should. Let me just do it real quick, okay? I want you to imagine a puffer fish. And I don't have my toy here that I had in the other video that talked about egocentric loops, but there is another video that I did. I have to figure out how to link. Now, see, look at me, squirrel. This is what happens when you're growing on script. Goodness. And they say you don't understand about ADHD. Please, let me tell you how long I sat here before I turned the camera on. Okay, let me calm down. I feel like I should have just went on a run first before I did this because I have all this energy inside of me. Let me breathe, let me breathe, let me breathe. Calm the motors down. Think of yourself like a puffer fish. Right now, I feel like I'm having one of those puffer fish moments where I'm like a balloon. It's squirrel. All right. But sometimes we have these puffer fish egocentric loops. Okay. When the egocentric loop is activated, when we're a puffer fish, we're just, and you can't really do anything. You're just kind of like, you got to succumb to it, surrender to the puff, just let it go, let it be. What are you going to try to do with your little flappies? Where are you going to go with your little flaps? You got to just surrender to it and just let it go until we can get back to regulation again. So you have that image in your mind. Yeah. Sorry, excuse me. Y'all should come out. You have that image in your mind now. Yeah. Think of yourself now. Think of all these little puffer fish. Now all of these dysregulated adults are all over the air, just puffing around like the auntie from Harry Potter. She on timeout up there in the atmosphere. That's what this is when we are dysregulated. Okay. This protocol that I swirled in the last video, we're going to go through it again. I'm going to go through the entirety of it, and you're going to have some goodies and some practices that you can use for this holiday season and into the new year. Okie dokie. The key here is to not puff. We want to be regulated. Okay. When you're puffed, that's pressure cooker energy. We have to understand that when we are in this puffed up state, our body is freezing, our mind starts spinning. And now what happens is we're reacting to something small, but really big. And this is all of us, okay? Not just whoever age groups. I've seen all age groups get real tantrumy, all right? Rugrats go wild up in here. Now, we also have to understand that when these instances happen, We aren't broken. There's nothing wrong with us. I see my clients, you're emotionally self-harming in front of me. Just, and I'm like, stop it. No self-harm, but lovingly stop. Because you guys are just sitting here emotionally self-harming with this thought pattern and this habitual cyclical dynamic in the way in which we talk to ourselves. We have to understand that in these moments, we have went back to the past. We called up Doc. He came up with the DeLorean. Marty McFly showed up with the hoverboard. I've always wanted to ride one of them things. And now we going back to the time. Going back in time to the trigger, to where it was imprinted, all right, in the timeline of the past. That's what happens when we feel that flood in the body. Now, most of us, we were never given the crayons. I've mentioned that in other work that I've done, which are essentially the skills, the tools, the strategies on what to do when we are faced with puffed up time. Puffed up timeout. This is going to be that procedure that y'all can use when these moments happen. The youngins call it crashing out. I call it spiraling, activation, whatever you want to call it, where you're all of the things. This protocol is for you. I think this is a perfect example for me to use myself as the sacrifice. Totally not fun for me, but we're going to do it. Because right now I'm noticing I'm having a nervous system pufferfish moment, except when you go full puffish, okay, that's when you are out here in emotional reactivity, all right? When I talk about my reactivity scale, my regulation scale, I want y'all to understand that when you are under a 5, you are in regulation land. A 3 and under is rest and digest territory, all right? So what does that mean? What that means is when we are in a rest and digest territory at 0 to a 3, we're chilling, we're vibing, we are rest and digest. Sometimes things can activate us slightly, but not to the point where we're over a 5 dysregulated, all right? That's where I call that the low buzz, the low simmer of nervous system activation. Think of it like this, okay? If we had a gas stove and you turn it on, but you don't see the flame, but the gas is there. So if you light a match, shit, right? That's what I'm talking about. It's there, but you're doing the under 5 regulatory skills to manage it. However, you got to be careful because one match, all it takes is the wrong match, and you can go right out into reactivity town. Reactivity time. Okay. And that's what we want to be mindful of. So kind of give yourself that visual if that helps. And then the puff fish. The puff fish is when we are basically like 6.5 and over. And also understand this is why a lot of my work, frameworks, thought theories, all the things start from perception, because what one person puffs up for is not what another person puffs up for. What one person calls reactivity or crashing out is not what someone else would call that, right? So if I talk about how maybe I'm struggling with defensiveness, that doesn't mean what you think it means because of what you've experienced, right? It's a spectrum of things. And the polarity of this macro level society world, the upside down, where Vecna is, has gotten us so confused. And the spectrum of it all is where humanity lives. Okie dokie? Now, the point of this video, the reason why I want to give y'all this beautiful tool is because my corner of the internet is exposure therapy. Some of y'all seem to forget that, thinking it's over here, my brand and stuff. I don't even know what that means. Brand. Y'all be thinking I just be out here Marioing into this Mario world of content life. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, I'm getting off tangent. Calm down, Sav. You're revving again. You're revving. I need to go run real quick. Okay, let me get to the point. this corner of the internet is exposure therapy. So a lot of the things, and we haven't even gotten to all the juiciness yet, all right? It is designed to train the viewer and myself to sit with discomfort. I told you this already, y'all. Y'all are forgetting. Pesky Peskersons. Having this protocol handy will give you the perfect opportunity to practice what we preach. People, some of y'all are not practicing what you preach. I can smell it. We have to understand, because of this corner of the internet and the amount of comments, clips, tone policing, rage bait, and the gotcha culture people out here. There's so much projections, there's so much misinterpretations online, which is the perfect arena for exposure therapy nervous system practice. So instead of letting those moments hijack, spiral us, and cause us to crash out, or even harden us, okay, we can treat this like the nervous system playground that it is. And over time, we'll learn the skills to not self-abandon, not suppress ourselves. And we'll also learn how to expose ourselves to the skills needed to practice carrying the weight of discernment. Okay? Some of y'all have like the Hulk arm over here with your jumping to conclusions and your assumptions and your mind reading. Y'all be putting in overtime. Okay? Goodness. I need y'all to work this one. Okay? This is the muscle of discernment. And let me tell you something. Okay, loves? Y'all are all about the inflammation and the gut healing and the cortisol, right? Okay, y'all so quick to give your money to shit. I'm not even asking for your money for this. I am giving it to you. Look at that. Can you see it? Can you try it on? See how it fits. Practice it consistently. Do you deserve that? I believe you do. Do you? This is the work. And because we can't touch it, eat it, wear it, we have to embody it. And in trying to step into embodiment means you have to be consistent, you have to be disciplined, okay? I also want people to understand the safety to speak is not about becoming quieter. Didn't you understand? Okay, it is not about being quieter. It is about, what is it about? It's about learning how to speak your truth more steady, but imperfect, because we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. I have to learn, because I be trying to perfectify everything that is straight down cortisol lane, y'all. Then you guys gotta go get the gut detox stuff because of that perfection. Stop it. Stop. Don't touch it. Let it go. Don't touch it. Let's talk about step 1 of this protocol, which is the first muscle. This is the moment of pause, and it's the most important step. And it's the one a lot of us avoid the most. Pause is not just about take a breath. No. Pause is about locating the buildup before this buildup turns into behavior. That is the exact moment that your survival system turns on. We have to understand that this protocol is important. Pause is the most important step. Why? Because pause is what helps us build interoception. And interoception is your ability to feel what's happening inside of you. And I've noticed through my practice with trauma clients, a lot of us are afraid to feel what's inside of us. That's something that's data for some of us to understand. Sometimes a lot of us that are asking why, how, we're always stuck in the question. We're always stuck in the before actually implementation work, because this part is where we're gridlocked. We don't know how to just sit with our body. And for those of you who are stuck with that, I would suggest take hot baths, do something with cold water, hot water, feel the sensation in your body. Take moments where you just kind of breathe, where there's nothing going on and you just breathe. Do guided body scans. Those are great practices to do that. Start with 3 to 5 minutes. That's the work. Don't say I didn't give you a step 1. Okay, back to this. Now, interoception, all right? That's what it can help us with. But it also expands our windows of tolerance, which is a huge skill that we need in order to move throughout this world. That's why a lot of you need the environment to help you curate safety. What you really need is to develop that safety within, to be able to stretch and expand your window of tolerance. Because some of y'all's window of tolerance is like this. And you wonder why you're inflamed and cortisol's everywhere. Damn, the environment got you. Vecna. But this window of tolerance is what helps you hold without collapsing or without exploding, all right? This also helps you with prevent reactive discharge. The tone, the texting, the spiraling, the proving, the punishing. Most people think they're pausing. Oh man, have I seen it live? But they're really suppressing. Y'all are holding it all in and you unload it where someone else is very attached. And in online spaces, we must understand that there is endless reps to practice without becoming the reaction. So when people say that there's no access, when you have the internet in your pocket, you can get the strategies, go online like the data collector Safari member you are and hunt. Almost go into spaces that you know are going to get you booty tickled and see if you can stay there. What is wrong with you, girl? I don't know. Let's move on. So let's show you what pause actually looks like. Pause. Locate. Name. Allow. First, we must locate the build. Find where it is in the body. A lot of times my clients will say they're feeling it in their chest. They might feel it in their throat. A lot of my clients are feeling tightness in the throat. And if you're feeling tightness in the throat, that could be a sign that you're not speaking your truth. You're swallowing it, which is why it's tight here, because that's where Vecna got you. But you might be feeling it in the jaw. You might be feeling it in the shoulders, in the traps, in the back. Some people feel it in the stomach. For me, sometimes I'll feel it in the stomach and then it'll send tingles into my legs. And then that'll make me feel ungrounded and that will exacerbate any more physiological sensations. So basically the pause and the locate the build part of this protocol is really you doing a body somatic scan to identify the feeling in the body, all right? Here's my challenge for y'all. The next time y'all are activated, and it is the holiday season, y'all are around family, playground, okay? Sit with yourself, the little you. That body is the little you trying to speak to you. Where is it? When we react or we cope, the phone, alcohol, weed, whatever it is that we are using, we're grasping, shopping, sex, whatever it is, swiping right, we are avoiding the sensation in the body. We are essentially avoiding the little you. I don't know about y'all, but I'm done leaving her behind. I grabbed her little milk dud, put her on my shoulder. Now we do things together. Okay? That is that moment to come back home to yourself. Even when your partner's right in front of you getting spicy. What does ego say, right? What does the commitment we make about being in these commitments, especially marriage, say, right? Are we choosing that? In these seconds, it could be 30 seconds that we are in these moments to choose that. And you can't get there until you can identify the feeling, because that feeling is what causes us to become hijacked by the nervous system, because it feels like fire. Can you sit in the heat? All right. Now, you're going to name that signal. All right. This is the sympathetic surge. This is the freeze. This is the fawn. You can feel the urgency. I want you to name it as if we're in a grocery store and you're scanning it. Oh, look at that sensation. Fawning. We're not going to do you today. You're going to scan this. Freeze. We're not going to do this today. Think whatever method helps you. If it's like sheep, do that. Whatever helps you in the mind. If you need to write it down, whatever helps you. But these are going to be processes that you do quickly internally. All right. You can also maybe name like, okay, my tone is sharpening. That's something that you can name and you can identify within yourself. Notice how we're not, oh, look at their tone. Oh, look at their face. Oh, look at, nah, here. Here. Can you do it? See if you can also notice that urge to escalate. All right. Sometimes when I'm in conflict with my husband, or I can feel my nervous system is sensing a old blueprint wanting to come live, and you can feel that, right? You're still under a 5. This is that burn I was telling you about when you're a 3 to 5. Okay? You're not full reactive, but you are aware. You're the observer of the simmer. All I got to do is have a match, drop it. And some of you are addicted to lighten that match, creating your own fires, and then blaming your partner. So this is why this work is so beautiful and fun when you change your restructuring and your cognitive reframing and you do all of that. You have to shift that. This work is not about the external environment. It's about what changes inside of you. This is how we exercise that, okay? So now, the third part of that process is to allow without fixing. So once you've named it and labeled it in the body, I'm not going to solve it right now. My favorite thing is don't touch it. Don't touch it. Girl, don't touch it. I'll be driving. Don't touch it. Well, hold on to the wheel, girl, but don't touch it. Right? Say it to yourself if you need to. Whatever makes it fun for you. You can say, I'm noticing it. You can say noted. You can say, I see you. You want to be fun, right? That's fun, right? There's a little hum in that too. Hum does something to the nervous system, okay? The vagus nerve, I see you. You can hum if you want to. You can just say it. I'm being extra here, I know, but I'm giving you options. You can also say that, okay, I'm just going to stay with this sensation long enough to collect the data. That's something that you can also say while you're sitting in that. For some of us, we're getting this sensation every day when we're driving to work. Maybe our work is a place of stress for us. So these can be things that you can practice in the car. Play some relaxing tones, nothing with lyrics, to help you practice that in the mind. All of this that we've just discussed is the somatic exposure therapy in real time. So when you practice it, congratulations, you're doing the work. Let's talk about step 2 in this framework. All right. I really like this. It helps me. This procedure helps me. Why? Because I'm a perfectionist and I don't know where I got it in me. Like who told me that the rules were I had to be like a news anchor and not look at a script. Like it's YouTube. People are doing a lot on here. I'm good. Okay. So I think this is an example because this used to create activation in me. And even though I'm not in a dangerous space right now, there's no threat happening. My body doesn't know that. My amygdala doesn't know that. And it's pulling from the hippocampus and it's taking me back into the time where I felt like I had to rush in order to get things done. And so part of my training is happening right now. That's why I tell you this is exposure therapy for me, because I have to learn how to slow down and do the same. All right. So now for the loop interrupt in step 2, step 2 is the zoom out. So we were at pause. Now we're at zoom out. And so in the zoom out part, this is like the drone view of what's happening in that scenario when you're exercising this protocol. In this zoomed out mode, think of it like the Matrix almost, where it's almost in slow motion and now you're in the zoom out and you're like the drone that's scanning the whole entire scene. That's you. So you're in the moment, you're just not swallowed by it. Does that make sense? Now, this part matters importantly because when we zoom out, it creates this form of metacognition. And that is the ability to watch your thoughts instead of becoming them. Now, when I used to do sign language interpreting, I loved that because I was like, becoming the character. Okay, sorry, calm down. It helps you separate the body from the story. Does that make sense? This could be the part where we interrupt the reenactment that a lot of us fall into the rabbit hole of. It stops it before it becomes the entire script that we mentally rehearse. The mental rehearsal is what we are trying to avoid because a lot of y'all are mentally rehearsing some really harmful things. And we have to get you, I got to get you before you go into that room. All right. So we got to interrupt. And so if I can interrupt you from entering into that mental rehearsal room before you reenact, and that's where crash out time lives. I got to get you before you go in there. All right. I don't know about you, but when I was in my early 20s, man, I used to run there the same way I used to run to red flags. I used to skip to them, then cry about it later like a victim. All right. That's what we're trying to interrupt. So we zoom out, we sort, we source, and then we score. So when we're in the sorting process, is this a thought, the feeling? Is this an urge? Then you have to source it. Is it coming from now or is it coming from then? This part right here requires discernment level. All right. There might even be a prerequisite for this part because a lot of you never think you're the problem. You have all these dynamics, but don't think you have a role to play in them. And that requires a lot of self-time out. Okay. We need some SSRT time. Sitting reflection time. You can do this yourself. You don't have to get placed in it. When we get placed in it by others, it doesn't feel good. Okay? It creates injuries. Sometimes they're narcissistic. When you create your own SSRT, you create that sacred time to sit with your shit. So someone doesn't have to put you in it yourself. Now, because when you're sourcing it, you want to make sure you're sourcing it accurately. Am I acting like my age or am I acting like my wound? Some of y'all's ego can't answer that honestly. Now, after that, we have to score it. Score the threat, 0 to 10. Now, in my clinical practice with my clients, I start every session with, from 1 to 10, where are you at today? And the higher the number, the better they are. The lower the number, the lower they are. And I use this over time to range their fluctuations. Okay? But in this setting, in this time, 0 to 10 is 0 to Zen, 10 to I don't know what I could put there. 10 to, I don't know. But yes, you see what I'm trying to say. So 10 is explosive, reactive. All right. Then you have to ask, is this actually dangerous or is it just activating? Those are two different things. All right. Is it a dinosaur getting ready to eat you? Or did your boss just tell you, no, I can't give you a raise? These are two different things. Am I about to be homeless? Or am I running late to work? Sav, gosh, the fact that my nervous system gets turned on as if I'm late, but I'm late to be early. That right there is just to sum me up in a nutshell. Now, we have to understand that the brain predicts meaning fast. This is why this protocol is here. When we zoom out, it helps us slow down the prediction loop long enough so that we can make a choice and that option in the brain can come back online. All right? Because we don't have that option when that's why some of y'all are making poor choices repeatedly. All right, so now we're in step 3 of the protocol. Integrate. So pause, zoom out, and integrate. This is the decision point. This is where we re-enter the situation with our body back online. This is where the leadership starts to replace the control that we used to engage in before. This step matters mostly because this is where integration builds that response flexibility. You're no longer locked in familiar reactions anymore. We make it to this step, you are strengthening the new neural pathways in your brain. This is rewiring work live. If we were in Dora the Explorer, we would be doing a little dance. Woo, 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 woo. Do, 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 Dora. Do, 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 do. Okay, sorry. Okay. You see, this is why I got to get it together. Look at you got lost. Okay. We're no longer in those familiar reactions. That's a celebration. This is where I'm like confetti with my clients. Okay. That was the hard part and we succeeded. Bravo. In this, it's a win because we are choosing our own self-integrity over the impulse. And the echo chambers and the algorithm reward the impulse. And yeah. So everything that we just talked about, that's neuroplasticity. Dendrites. When I was in grad school, I could not get enough of dendrites. I was like, dendrites. Okay. So when we do that interruption, we pivot, you went this direction and implemented the protocol. Pause, zoom out, integrate. For the integration recipe of all of this, okay? We choose, we communicate, and we contain. You choose one move. I'm activated. I'm going to come back in 20 minutes. Couples. Strategies. Now, a lot of you don't follow through. You didn't pinky promise. You didn't come back in 20 minutes. What do you think that does? That's a secondary injury for whoever you told that to. Your kids, your partner, your whoever. If you're a leader in a workplace, that's not a good look either. You can even say something like, I'm noticing I'm tense and I'm making assumptions. These are communications. Sometimes when I'm getting really upset, I just tell my husband what's going on. Fire! Exit! But you can just say, I'm noticing, like I'm upset. Like I'm getting activated. I usually just say I'm getting activated and that's enough for him to kind of know like, okay. And sometimes it can be like, I'm not going to debate with you in this state. But I've noticed working with couples that last one, I'm not debating in this state, can also be used as kind of some sort of superiority. And it's almost like a jab. So be cautious. That's why sometimes when I'm having fun with some of my high conflict couples that actually want to do the fun work and they're willing to try anything, sometimes we get creative and we use code words or we like pineapple, like grape. I have a family that uses roly-poly and that's fun. And then part of this of the integration recipe is to communicate with tone discipline, right? So you can be honest without having to be destructive. Now, here's the nuance to this, right? It doesn't matter how much you perfect your tone, watch your delivery. Some people are committed to just framing it as an attack. And I am noticing a prevalence of borderline personality traits. Hear that last part, y'all? Mob. Okay? Because the splitting, the polarization, the perception of always being attacked, that is a borderline personality trait. So if you always think you're being attacked, check yourself like a scan and really ask yourself, why am I perceiving everything as an attack? Because maybe we need to assess something. Maybe you do need to go talk to your psychiatrist and go see what's going on, because trauma can do this. I'm seeing this happening a lot. But we have to be honest about our deliveries. But also know too, I don't want my overfunctioners to get trapped there because you have people in your life that are tone policers and delivery police. Okay? Now, containing the moment, protect the relationship, protecting your integrity. Now, here are some real life examples, okay? I am thinking of some holiday implementations of some of the things that families I work with, family dynamics. A lot of families, Christmas is a big deal. All right. We have high expectations. Let's check those. All right. I want y'all to think, because this is what we can do with mental rehearsal. You can essentially create a exposure therapy without being in the live moment. And what I mean by that is, for some of y'all who have events coming up, okay, think of them in your mind's eye. I want you to sit in a space where there's no sound, and I just want you to sit with yourself, and I want you to imagine in your mind's eye the scenario you're going to, whether it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, whatever it is that you're getting ready to go do. Sit with what you're anxious about, what you're fearful about, what you're worried, concerned, whatever it is, sit with it. Okay? Go through the protocol. Pause. Where are you feeling it in your body? Okay, my jaw's tightening. Okay, why? Why is my jaw tightening? What do I feel? Speak that out loud. Pretend you're talking to a child, but that child is you. Okay, but that child is you, okay? Then you have to zoom out, assess. When you're in the controlled experiment exposure therapy, you're not actually live there, right? So when you're here, you're helping your body realize that, hey, we're safe, we're home. There's nothing. We're just rehearsing for the big day. Okay? And some of you guys have families, man. Trust me, I understand. Indian family, freaking Hispanic families, like they always got very critical. Always got something to say. Then they wonder why family don't come around. Let it fall on the floor. Don't pick that up without gloves. Ew. Gross. Drop it. Zoom out. Oh, I'm tense because freaking Masi G, Tia, whoever, man, always got something to say. Oh, you're still at that job? You haven't got married yet? Oh, where are your kids? Activation. Leave it. Truly, you don't have to sit there. You don't have to sit there in it. Drop it. Some of y'all are picking up your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, your whoever, and you're rubbing it on you. Yes. Woohoo. Stop. Pause. Drop it. Don't do that. Okay? Integrating could be integration could be utilizing a voice record. Maybe you have something recorded. Maybe you have something that helps you relax. Maybe you go take a break. Maybe you go step outside. Go into the cold. Go into the warm, in the sun. Go and get your body exposed to that sensation if you're noticing you're getting over a 5, so that you can get yourself back under a 5. Remind yourself, some of us have family who are ready to throw that match, because they know that you're doing the work to not pop off. And they want to just throw that match just so you can pop off. Do the integration of whatever you need. If you step outside into the cold, that can help shock your body a little bit so your mind's not trying to ruminate onto, I wish she would, auntie, come on. I wish she would, grandma. I got something to say for you. Don't do it. Voice record it, go off on them that way, and then return to Christmas dinner. Okay? That's an example. Now, I want to help y'all understand that this isn't about perfecting everything. No, 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 no. That is a trap of avoidance. I always fall in that. It's not. And perfection. See if you can see what's going on in your body. See if you can notice what's going on in your body when you're trying to perfectify everything. All right? It doesn't have to be perfect. This is about getting in the reps. When you do this, you're getting in the reps. And what happens when we get in the reps? We're building muscle. Okay? Now, I'm going to put that worksheet somewhere in here, but best believe you're going to have to work for it. Field trip time in the comments everywhere. Over there, everywhere. There might be a quiz too. Fun. Remember, we don't have to perfectify. I'll see y'all in the next one.